little feather in the cap of Serie B that Ogbona's been picked. He's lucky to be here at all. He had a car crash a few years ago. His car careered off a bridge into a raging torrent, and he survived it. Johnson tries to pick up the run of Shea down outside. The USA looking for a first ever win in history against Italy. Having said that, 3 of the last 6 games have ended even, and 5 of the last 6 there's only been 1 goal in it, maximum. So the gap is closing. Edu. Marzali it was who cut it out. Breck Shea. Well, the passing movement was good until that point, and then it was rather given away. Pity.
Breck had room to take it one-on-one. A little too unselfish, looking for Clint. Keep going, but the combination play that includes Josie Altidore allows Breck Shea to get in behind the midfield running at defenders.
Thiago Motta. Behind for a corner kick. Just mentioning Motta there, it's interesting. I mean, he played for Brazil in the CONCACAF Gold Cup in 2003. And in the last year, he's been allowed to play for Italy. Isn't the CONCACAF Gold Cup a competitive event? I'm not quite sure how that happened, that Motta's ended up playing for Italy, but he has.
Yeah, we need to check that out.
He got the clearance. Who are we to question it? Pirlo. Clicito on his left foot, got a bit of meat behind it, but it's going to take something a bit better than that to beat Tim Howard.
Yeah, if you're Tim Howard, you have no problem with Clicito hitting the ball from 30 yards out, but Josie's got to do a better job holding his feet. That's too easy.
I'm sure the Italians are thinking that eventually they will break the United States down at some point. But will they? And can the US just nick a goal from somewhere on the counter? That was given away, wasn't it, by Maggio? Dempsey to Altidore. He needs support around him now. Free kick's going to be given here. 20 yards out or so.
Right on cue, Ian. Talking about the quick counter. Good turnover for Breck Shea to find Josie Altidore. It's a dangerous set piece.
So has somebody got a special in them here? Well, he waits and wonders, Jurgen Klinsmann, who was charming the media here the other day with his fluent Italian learnt during his time at Inter and Sampdoria. Well, this would set the cat among the pigeons if Dempsey could do something here.
But this is where not having Landon Donovan on the field and usually taking this.
Bradley looking interesting as well, and the wall is not the full 10 yards, says the Turkish referee.
Flynn or Michael, the moment that whistle's blown, though, I'd be taking it.
Taking their time. It is Dempsey. Oh, he got hold of that, and Buffon got his fist behind it. I tell you what, a yard either side. That was a bit of a tracer bullet from Clint Dempsey.
It's a great strike from Clint.
Bradley to Altidore. Goes down in the box. The referee not remotely interested. And maybe on a more competitive occasion, a rather stronger word with Altidore would have been had there. It's Crescito, two fullbacks playing like wingers for Italy. Motta. Maggio's long-range shot. Shevchenko. Quick feet, low center of gravity. He's a handful, quite clearly. Boccanegra out of harm's way.
That's well done from the U.S. Clint Dempsey coming up, hits it very well. Good technique, landing on that shooting foot.
And that's Altidore going down.
Going down a little too easy for me. Josie's doing all the hard work, bringing the ball down. He's strong, knock it off.
Change in formation from the win in Slovenia. They played with Buddle as well up top in that game. But that would have been too ambitious for this assignment, I think. Dempsey, Altidore. Dempsey again, draws the free kick, which I think is what he was hoping for. Joint fourth all-time in the scorers list now for the United States. Clint Dempsey after his strike in Slovenia. And with only Landon Donovan, Eric Guinalda and Brian McBride ahead of him. McBride is here, by the way, tonight.
I played with Clint early on in his career. There was more joy to the game. He had celebrations. You know, the article with Grant Wall on SI.com, it really was interesting how he's got this business-like approach. You know, 16 goals in all competitions this year with Foreman. He's once more, he wants to hit the 20 mark.
Including 2 hat-tricks, by the way. Bradley with a little chip forward. Again, the fists of Buffon do the job. Italian goalkeeper missed most of the World Cup with injury. It didn't help them either. Here's the little man again, Giovinco. Now it is Alessandro Matri of Juventus. Pirlo. No problems here for Tim Howard. Well, as against France and Belgium away from home, the United States putting up a pretty respectable effort here. And I'd say they're more of an attacking threat than they looked in those 2 other games I mentioned, the France and Belgium ones. Wouldn't you, Taylor?
Yeah, definitely. Especially on the outside, they've had good opportunities.
I mean, I think the big project is to turn the United States from, say, a top 16 team to a top 10 team. Maybe it's a big job.
Well, you heard it in the pregame show with Alexei and Maka talking about that. That's why Jurgen was brought in, to close that gap. So when the World Cup comes around in 2014, the U.S. aren't intimidated playing the teams like Italy, France, England, and those teams.
And it's not going to happen overnight, that as well. But the encouraging thing is there's some good youngsters coming through. It'll be interesting to see how the U.S. get on in the Olympic Games, which is an under-23 competition. You are allowed 3 overage players.
Huge game for the Olympic team tonight as they play Mexico and Dallas.
Yeah.
Good spot from Michael Bradley.
Nocerino. Maggio. Matri. He's only got 1 goal for his country in 4 appearances. This is the first time he's been in from the start, though. He's picked up a little knock there. Carlos Boccanegra doing well, just getting the foot in at the vital time. He's winning his 101st cap tonight, the skipper. Not quite sure Fabian Johnson wanted that ball there. This could be problems. Nocerino, well won back by Edu. He's having a fine game in there. He's run some important tackles, Taylor.
Clogging up passing lanes, but you said it best. Danny Williams has to be smart. You want to go into halftime, not giving up any chances. That's a dangerous square ball to Fabian Johnson. Good spot from Maurice Adu.
Just might have to be a little cuter in attacking moves to unlock the miserly Italian defense. Oh, hit by Motta as it dropped. Won a lot of trophies in his time with Barcelona and Inter, didn't he, Thiago Motta? A lot of injuries as well in the past, which haven't helped his cause. Crescito. Maggio again, not a good enough quality ball in. He won't be too happy with that, I don't think. Cesare Prandelli, the coach, will want better than that. It's a good sign for the US if the Italians just become a little frustrated. Jürgen Klinsmann will know that, of course. I would think he'd be happy enough, wouldn't he, so far?
But this is a true test right here, going into halftime, making sure the scoreline stays the same. This is part of growing up on the road, having an understanding, game management. These are the little things, the mentality that Jürgen Klinsmann talked about yesterday with us, Ian. Having an understanding when to go forward and having an understanding when to see the game out.
I think the job now is to make sure they make no mistakes going in towards half-time. We're getting close to it now.
Exactly.
And they do get to half-time. It is goalless here. Taylor, your verdict?
It's exactly what Jürgen wanted. Coming forward, they got to be careful a little bit with Montri and Giovinco off that back shoulder of the center backs, but the U.S. good combination play down the flanks. They just need something at the end of it.
Can they see it through, though? Can they close the show? Or will the Italians unlock that defense at the end of this? Go back to the studio now. Let's get more comments with Bob Lee, Alexi Lalas, and Steve McManaman. Back to you, boys.
Thank you, Ian and Taylor. We'll be back to you for the second half kick in Genoa. Scoreless, U.S. getting the better of it. The latter stages of that second half. The United States have never defeated Italy. Will this be the evening? We'll take a look at the highlights, and there's something to talk about in a moment. Scoreless at the half, along with Steve McManaman and Alexi Lalas. I'm Bob Lee. One-sentence report card here.
I'll be honest, I was disappointed. I thought that there would be much more of a commitment to possession. I think at times they were okay going forward and getting some opportunities, but all in all, I don't think it showed where this team needs to be in terms of the advances over the last 7 months.
But still, they're level with Italy in Italy.
Yeah, very much so. Bob, this is a difficult game, this. So, I mean, you know, they're doing okay. They're still in the game. Hopefully they can express themselves a little bit more in the second half. My only concern would be somebody has to close down Andrea Pirlo. He's the best player on the park at the moment. Huge amounts of time to knock passes over Goodson, over Boccanegra. That is a problem.
But that's a surprise?
No, exactly.
That can't be a surprise.
Somebody should be tight on him.
Well, Tim Howard was called upon us. We'll take a look at some of the highlights. Understanding in the center back situation is an issue for the U.S. at least early on. And that attempt is Howard is able to make the attempt and get his body in front of it. This is offside, but still it shows you the danger.
Yeah, I mean, look at the time and space. And the problem is for the back four, at a certain point, they have to stop going backwards. But if you're not going to put any pressure on the ball, and look, these are set pieces. The U.S. is fine on set pieces. I'm not worried about the U.S. on set pieces. But in the flow of the play and understanding defensively about how to pick up people, especially a Pirlo, you know, that's a problem.
All right, defensively. Let's talk offensively. All right, granted, Italy's defense. I mean, any